just brought back into the showroom our new entry level, which is the Patriot Campers X2-N. This is going back to, if people have been following the brand and they remember what the original X2 was about, it was about ultra lightweight, entry-level pricing for the Patriot Campers lineup, which I'll touch on in just a second. But most importantly, it was all about weight, super compact, super simple. Now, when I say entry-level pricing, it's entry-level pricing for the Patriot Campers brand. We are still an Australian-made product and very focused on Australian made. We use the very best components that we can source locally in Australia. If we can't get them in Australia, then we'll go overseas, all manufactured right here at Patriot Campers on the Gold Coast. Now, we haven't skimped in the slightest bit on any of the standard staple items that you would expect from a Patriot camper. Still sits on a Ridgely chassis, still got X-Cruise suspension. We've now got a 2-ton ATM on these trailers as well, still got 33-inch tyres, still got all the Red Arc componentry, but we've really simplified this design for people who want to get into the Patriot brand and start kind of their life cycle with the Patriot Campers product, but most importantly, want a camper trailer that will always make it back home, and that's still something that we're extremely proud of here at Patriot Campers. What you can do with these trailers, it still blows me away on some trips. And we just got back from the Simpson Desert, running the ST5 out there on its first shakedown, and we did a shakedown with the twins with the X2-N for its very first trip. So I thought I'd take this opportunity. The trailer's just been washed yesterday. The twins have detailed it all up. We just got back from the Simpson. We're putting it back into the showroom. This thing's done, I want to say, about 6,000 kilometres out the Birdsville Road, past the Birdsville Hotel, across the Simpson, Little Red, Big Red on the way back, and then the trip all the way back home. So you'll see the condition of the trailer, and I'll run you through some of the things that make up the Patriot Camper X2-N. So we might start on this one. We'll start in the kitchen area. And what I'll do is I'll probably point out the differences. One thing that I have forgot to mention, this is part of our new Tourer range. The Tourer range is more focused on off the grid than any other Patriot range that we've ever done before. And that really comes down to those two things that I mentioned at the start, keeping it simple and keeping it light. The simpler we can make the trailer, the more unnecessary technology that we can take out of the trailers, the lighter we can make them. And that lightness, it comes back to the off-road ability. It all comes down to weight. Where you want to drag a trailer is completely subject to the weight of that trailer. It's not specifically the size. You can get it down those really tight tracks. You don't have to think about the trailer being behind you. It'll articulate around trees. You can go through McDonald's drive-thrus, any McDonald's drive-thru with one of these behind, and you don't even have to worry about tracking. And as stupid as that may sound, when you're banging out 1,500 kilometre days, you know, and you just, mate, you're not stopping, you go and you're getting to the destination, pull into a drive-thru, grab a cheesy, maybe some fries, big Coke, and just keep motoring on. And it's one of those advantages. Pulling it up to a Woolworths, putting a Patriot camper into a car park is still something that it might seem incidental until you're towing something around and you're in a small town and you've got to park 16 blocks away and carry all your groceries back. You can pull this into a standard car park. But you've probably heard all that before. Inside of the door, molly panel, like we have on all of the Gen 2 range now. You can hang up there whatever you like. If it's kitchen utensils or first aid kits or all the rest of it, you just got to watch the depth on this side that you're sitting in front of the fridge. The kitchen slide functions exactly the same as the rest of the Gen 2 range. You do have a 75 litre dual zone fridge. We're still running the Dometic fridges, but you can fit really, there's a lot of different fridges, and we're seeing a lot of customers using different brands now, whether it's Engels or ARBs or whatever you like, but we still find that the dual zone with the Dometic fridge, freezer, fridge, however you want to set it up, and a chest style fridge, again, for our products, the ability to go off-road. Stand-up fridges just don't work in those situations, so you can pack everything in nice and tight. The big difference that you'll notice, again, trying to pull that cost down and also trying to save some weight, the bench tops in the Tourer range are all powder coated aluminium. You got a little storage cubby up on top, featuring the same sink, hot water to the sink if you go with the gas hot water system, and then around this side You've got your little utensil drawer, I suppose. Moving around this side of the trailer, I'll quickly touch on steel wheels with 33-inch tyres. You can option up to the Pecor wheels, so you can go with the machined or the black wheels. You've got a input charging point here for your 240 volt or 110, so that's your shore power, which I'll run you through real quick in a minute. And then you've got wet boxes coming around the side, which is a Patriot Campers staple. Now, inside the kitchen, you'll notice in the kitchen, you've still got red vision. You've still got the Red-Arc red vision. I'll just bang a couple of lights on. I'll just put a few lights on in there. Stainless steel bench tops on the kitchen side. The rest of the bench tops around are powder coated aluminium. Dometic 2-burner stove, which is the stove that we choose for everything. You've got a fixed drawer at the top here, not a slide out like you'd have in some of the other Gen 2 models. You've still got your massive pantry slide out here as well, which you can fit a lot of gear inside there, all LED lights underneath. And then you've got your electrical faceplate. This is something very clever that we've developed from standard Red-Arc products. I'm going to go into the system in another video, another loading up video. Keep an eye out for that. But fundamentally what we've done here is we've removed a lot of the cost of components that we don't find are required in our Tourer model range. The reason for that is the Tourers are designed to be completely off the grid. They are designed to run off DC power. And by DC power, I mean the input of solar and the input from your alternator in your car when you're driving. We don't expect our customers that buy a product like this to be at a caravan park where they're plugged into shore power. That's not what this product is all about. This is about getting lost, getting remote, getting as far away from other people as you possibly can. And with that, you don't have the opportunity to plug into shore power unless you carry a generator. The efficiency now of lithium batteries and DC charging doesn't require you to carry a generator anymore. Up until about, I'm gonna say probably only 2 or 3 years ago, I carried a generator with me on every trip. These days I don't carry one anywhere. We normally carry solar blankets with us. So we've got, the heart of this thing is a 100 amp hour lithium battery. That comes as standard. You can option on a second lithium battery if you like, if you feel like you're gonna be consuming more power. And then we've got a Red-Arc BC-DC at 1240 in there, so it'll give 40 amps of charge from solar if you've got enough solar panels or blankets, and 40 amps directly off the car. What we also supply in our Australian models, we supply the Red-Arc smart charger, which I'll kick the twins' ass later, but there's a little holder in there that it neatly sits in. Comes with an Anderson plug. You plug that into the side of the trailer, other side into the wall. Now this is only 10 amps, so fundamentally it's a trickle charger. It's probably enough to keep your fridge running, but if you did need to plug in overnight, run off a generator or whatever else that you're charging from, really good way to top up the batteries if you find that you're going to be in one location for a long period of time. For our US customers, we supply another brand of 10 amp charger because the Red-Arc smart charger is not available over there. So very, very clever, very simple system. This whole system we put in this trailer is something that I think would be awesome for canopies, boats, simple caravans. Again, keep an eye out for another one of the loading up videos where I'll run you through all the components and how we piece them all together. And I think it's a very smart, very cost-effective DC power system. Coming around the side, Pecor awning, 2.4 metre awning featuring the hexacore material, covers right from the front around to the side. We're putting the Pecor awning on all of our Tourer range with the X1 and the X3. It comes with an Australian-made canvas awning. This thing here is a little bit lighter, a little bit more coverage, SPF 50 plus on this material as well, which is really cool. Moving around the back, you've got 12 volt outlets on the side. You've got some around on that side as well. Still got the same chassis, like I said, the Ridulite chassis, tried, tested. This is our Gen 2 of the Ridulite chassis, but this chassis has been around now for 10 years and I can still hand on heart report 10 years, never had a structural failure on a Patriot Campers chassis, which is something that we're extremely proud of. It's riding on X-Cruise suspension. Coil springs come as standard on all of the Tourer range, but you can option up for airbags if you want the ability to level at camp. Again, keeping it simple. When you put the airbags in, you're adding additional weight, you're adding additional cost. Air compressor, wiring loom, air lines, there's a lot of labour that goes involved in putting that in, but there's a lot more weight that's involved when you put the airbags in. Once again, 850 kilos, this thing, you can literally tow it behind anything. There isn't a vehicle that comes with a hitch that you can't tow this thing behind. And you'll get into some very, very remote locations. You'll see at the Simpson Desert, weight is absolutely everything. In the back, we've got, this one's optioned up with our rear slide out drawer. Now this slide, if you don't option on the slide out drawer, you have a massive space in the back there. The batteries are tucked really neatly up the back, and there's another storage location up on top of the batteries. So the gear that you're going to be taking, maybe recovery kits, but more things for me are like first aid kits, spare parts, all that sort of stuff. I tucked that right up along the back there, and it's out of the way. I don't need to access it on a daily basis. In here, we were running out at the Simpson some aluminium boxes. We're running some of the new tread storage cases in here as well, which fit really, really well. And it was just, we had one set up as a pantry and one set up just as general camping gear in there. So we slide the back out, open the aluminium box. You got tie down points all the way around. The drawer slide's actually rated to 227 kilos. I wouldn't put 200 kilos on there. I wouldn't want 200 kilos banging around. And again, you're trying to keep it light, but it's sufficient to store absolutely anything that you like. One of the other things that keeps getting missed is the rear folding table. I actually got the question at a show not that long ago, why don't you make the rear table hinge up? And I think that was something that I really pushed not pushed in the early days. I really made people aware in the early days. When our kids were little, you know, we always found that we like to keep it simple. We generally don't carry a lot of tables and that sort of stuff with us. A couple of Helinox chairs would go in the wet box. We'd pull the Helinox chairs out, and the three kids would sit around here. And this is where they'd have their meals. They'd play cards. But even for a couple, it's the same thing. In the afternoon, 2 chairs out here, cheese platter and wine, if you do that sort of stuff, or maybe a bottle of rum and some sausages. This is a really nice area to hang out at the back. So we'll keep moving around the side. I'll talk about this thing in just a second, and I'll talk about what's happening on the roof in just a minute. Oh, hang on, just 1 second before we get into it. How's the barista? I like it. It is 6 a.m, to be honest with you. We're getting this video shot before the madness of Patriot Campus starts for the day. So let me have a quick coffee and then we'll continue around the side. All right, as we come around the side, I did forget to mention recovery points. So you've got the rear recovery points as all Gen 2s, and you've got a hitch receiver at the back there. So if you want to put a bike rack on the back and carry a couple of push bikes, you can, but there is another option for push bikes when it comes to the X2-N. Water fillers on this side, 155 litres of water is what we're actually advertising. And the reason that we're doing that, during the rotor moulding process, we aim for about a 9mm wall, but sometimes if there's a little bit more plastic that goes into the rotor mould, the wall thickness gets a little bit bigger and you lose a couple of litres. So the tanks have been designed for about 170 litres, but depending, you're going to get variation between 155 and 170 litres. So we just tell everyone 155 litres, which is ample. I think in US talk, I think that's 38 gallons. We might throw a graphic up there. Water filler on here on the side, like I said. And then you've got a solar input on this side. So if you want to run a solar blanket, this is where you plug it in on this side. And you can also run the 110 volt trickle charger at the same time. So during the day, again, if you are carrying a generator with you, you can have the solar panel out and then switch over the generator at night without having to unplug stuff, which is pretty handy. Massive storage area on this side. This is Patriot soft boxes. We designed those soft boxes a long time ago specifically to fit in the side here. 4 soft boxes fit in here perfectly. We still, on trips these days, the twins are almost 21 and Mia's 17 now. They get their soft box. They know they get their soft box. If it doesn't fit in the soft box, it doesn't come on the trip. It's really just that simple. Again, keep it simple. We're going camping. We don't need all the iPads and the electronics and all the rest of it. Obviously in the back, one of those tread boxes, like during one of the shoots, we filled that with toys for the young kids, and that was really cool. You will notice on this one, this particular one has a 700 watt red arc inverter on the side. This is not an option in the tour range. This happened the night before we were leaving for the Simpson Desert. The camera crew needed a bit more charging, and I had this in the race shed, so we just quickly slapped that in just for that particular trip. So if you option on an inverter for any of the tour range, the option is the new Red Arc RS3 1200 watt. So big storage area, powder coated bench tops, again keeping that weight down and keeping the cost down on the tour range. Then moving into this side, this storage box has still got some of the original Patriot X-Range design in there. Camp oven shelf. Again, I got that. We had a chat with one of the boys here the other day. Like, what's that shelf actually for? And what it was for was camp oven. When we built the first X1, and we still take a camp oven with us everywhere, you know, meal times, if you watch Patriot Games, is what camping's all about for us. They're just one of those big, clunky, heavy, you know, bits of kit that there's never anywhere to put it. And so we actually designed that shelf specifically to fit our camp oven, which is the biggest one that we can possibly find. So anybody else's will fit there. Big storage down the bottom. You can option on propane or gas hot water to this particular model. Hot water system gets mounted to the door and it can plunge straight into the kitchen, and this is where you'd have your shower. So Patriot shower tent or any style of shower tent, or once again, I've set it for 10 years. If you're in the right locations, the place where you should be with a Patriot camper, you don't need a tent at all, yeah? A couple of fuses, switches, everything accessible. And then you've obviously got the P-Core dust filtration system, twin air filters on the Gen 2 range. Please, please, please make sure if you're in dusty conditions, blow out your air filters every single day, yeah? Do it every day. We'll keep inside of the camper trailer pressurised and will ensure that minimal dust can get back into the trailer. Gas bottle holders, twin gas bottle holders, one on each side. If you option on the barbecue swing away, then it gives you the advantage. You can run the gas stove and the barbecue at exactly the same time. But for this one specifically, if you're going to go with the gas hot water system, it's really handy to have the gas storage on this side here. And probably the last compartment that we need to talk about is the man cave, the front box. You can see here, this is from Birdsville. You can see all of this is chipped up. So this material that we've got on the front of all of the new Gen 2s is a new material and a new process of forming for Patriot campers that we're running on the Gen 2, and I'm just absolutely ecstatic with where we're at with it. With the Gen 1s, we were rhino lighting the aluminium front boxes, and they were all fabricated. They were very, very heavy, but what we were finding in really severe conditions, say the Birdsville Road is the perfect example. You do 100 kilometres down the Birdsville Road, you're just going to destroy anything that you're towing behind you. There's other places like the Tanami or the Plenty Highway that just, if you don't have a stone mat on, you are asking for trouble. But what we were finding was the aluminium, if a big enough rock was hitting it at high enough speed, it actually put little dings in the aluminium. This material is very, very, very resilient to impact, and it'll just spring back. So you can see these little stone chips that are forming around here, and this is hence the reason of all of this design. The front box is angled, so when stones hit it, they deflect back down to the ground. They don't go up and smash your back windscreen, and anything that hits on this side here will be deflected out to the side. Don't know if we've got footage of it, but I saw it very, very clearly, you know, as we were filming out on the Birdsville Road, stones pounding the front of the trailer, and they were deflecting, you know, 10, 15 metres across the road. So the deflection is doing its job. It works absolutely amazing, but when you're passing traffic on those other roads, just keep the pace down, because you're going to hammer anyone who's coming at you while you're protecting your trailer. Ladders at the front. So this is a standard fitting on the X2-N. Gives you awesome access, and depending on how you want to mount your rooftop tent or whatever you want to tie down on the front, simply step up on the drawbar, straight up the ladder, up onto the roof rack, and you're in. Now this one here, this is probably a good one to show everyone, because this one doesn't have a barbecue swing away. You can see we've got LED lights, no barbecue swing away, that's an option. You can option that onto any Patriot campers model. Some people like them, some people don't. The original design of the front box was to have the ability to carry 6 jerry cans. So you can carry 120 litres of fluid in the front if you like, whether that's diesel, gas, or even just spare water. I still, everywhere that we go, I'll always carry 20 litres of water somewhere. You'll see a jerry can, a water jerry can, on every Patriot Games trip. Water is the one thing that's going to bring you back to town. Yeah, there's other things that'll bring you back to town, but water's definitely number one. You don't want to run out of water, and clean water. So that was what that was design was all about. But other bulky items, you know, chainsaws, fire pits, all that sort of stuff. My tools will live up the top. This is my area. Sarah's not allowed in there. The kids aren't even allowed in there when we're away. Whatever trailer I'm towing, if you touch anything in the front box, you know what's coming. So if you're ever on a trip with me, don't go into the front box, because all of the stuff will need to know where all of my imperative gear is, and that's where it lives. So that's about the front box. Fire extinguisher, that's a requirement now on all trailers, all towable items in Australia, but we've been fitting them from day one. And moving to the front, there's no, on Gen 2, there's no option for an extended drawbar. The extended drawbar is now standard. DO35 hitch at the front, of course. What else? There's nothing else that I would consider buying, and a flip-up jockey wheel. Last thing, and probably the best thing about the X2-N, is obviously the EXORACK with the roof bars. The EXORACK coming back has given, this is back to the original design of the Patriot X1. If you go back to the original X1, it had 2 roof bars on the top, and that was to give the trailer the ability to handle all different situations of camping. Back in those days, I was hunting at least once a month just with my mates. The kids were too young. And when I did that, we'd throw 6 swags on top and we'd have the thing as a chuck wagon. If we were going away as a family, I'd put the big family rooftop tent on it. Or if I was going on a long trip and Sarah wasn't with me, if I was the twins, for example, I used to run a James Root on the top, and you would have seen all of those iterations. We lost the ability to do that when we went to integrated tents in the X1 and the X3, which is not a bad thing. But this just brings that flexibility back. As your trips change, or more importantly, as your life kind of changes, kids grow up, they get older, they don't want to sleep in bed with mum and dad anymore, they want to be in their own swags, gives you ability to keep modifying the trailer over a period of time to really suit your camping style. We come standard with 6 EXORACK bars. They've got a T-slot channel in the top, allows you to bolt in any of the gear from Rhino Racks. And Rhino Racks is the amount of accessories that they have now, T-slot accessories for roof racks, is just insane. Kayaks, mountain bikes, max track, you name it, there is an accessory holder for it, and it will go straight on to the X2. You can also option on additional EXORACK bars. So if you wanted to make that a full flat platform for whatever reason, you can do that as well. For the Simpson trip, we were running the new Rhino Rack, hard shell rooftop tent. Awesome bit of kit, unreal bit of kit. I'm actually going to do another video on that because I really do like it. I think it's that good for a specific purpose, but you can see up here we still have room in the front. We were carrying 2 swags on the front, and then we had the rooftop tent at the back there. So there you have it. There's a run through, very quick, but Justin style quick, run through the X2-N, and there was a lot I didn't say. Yeah, so for anybody who's like, and especially the team behind are looking at me going, he's just done it again, and now we got to edit this thing. That was like 50% of the why behind the X2-N, but I think it gives people a really good insight. Get into Patriot Campus HQ, or the store in Las Vegas. If you want to check one out, we do have one on the way to Las Vegas at the moment. If you contact the sales team there, they'll let you know when it's in the showroom and ready for display. But another product that I'm really proud of, we've gone to one extreme with the ST5, but we've brought it back to where it all started with the Patriot X2-N. Get in and check it out. It's not Friday today. I'm actually not loading up, I'm packing down, but I hope you enjoyed this episode of loading up. Keep an eye out for the other 2 videos that I mentioned. Look at the Red Arc system. You're gonna wanna see that if you're a DIY guy, and definitely check out the new rooftop tent. I'll see you guys soon.